Hello, sorry I'm late. Having trouble with the Wi-Fi and trying to get on. So I hope you can see and hear me. As ever, if you can, please can you just put in the chat box that you can see and hear, and then we can get going. Hello, sorry I'm late. Having trouble. So please confirm you can see and hear me, and I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much, Stephen. Well, the Newcastle match has passed me by. What an absolute killer match for the Geordie fans. Thank you very much, Jamie, and thank you very much, Stephen. Apologies for the late arrival. I was swearing very loudly at the computer. Thank you, Gordon, and thank you, Robert. That's great. So you can hear me. No, there's no echo problem or anything like that. That's great. Now I'm using the Wi-Fi from my own Wi-Fi from my telephone. So hopefully that will be steady enough to get going. So let's get our prep work done, get the in-play stat feed up, and it has been a little wobbly of late, in-play guru, so do make sure that this says live at the top left and not disconnected. If it says disconnected, you might be in a spot of bother because you'll be looking at ancient data. What an amazing match for Newcastle. One more piece of the jigsaw, and Freiburg have opened the scoring against Mönchengladbach. Look at that. That's quite astounding for the Geordies. Unbelievable. Passed me by completely. But let's collect. As you can see, it's a little slow, the Wi-Fi. I am in Pattaya at the moment in the condo there, taking advantage of the 2 weeks of international football break. So I can actually have a break myself, which is a rarity. So let's collect our odds-on favourites. Chelsea look deserving odds-on. Fulham, Tottenham, both teams to score possible there. Aston Villa, well, it's a local derby of sorts. And Brentford Man United, it's a bit of a messy one, that one. Monaco, strong favourites at 4 o'clock. 2.1 only the favourite. I thought they were a little shorter. No, they weren't. But this has potential. By Leverkusen, of course, you know what happens with the Hoff, though. Both teams to score are possible there. We know all about Mainz and their inability to score that second goal. It's a clear favourite, Leipzig, today. Mainz did score 2 last week, but the first goal was a penalty. So I will stick to my rule about them. Bayern Munich and Dortmund, as you saw earlier with Napoli and
Hapoel Beersheba. Hapoel Haifa is 2-1.
Well, all hail to the ale, even down to 10 men. Hapoel Beersheba still delivering. Thank you very much, Mark, for confirmation. That's great. So I was a little worried because I haven't got my usual plug-in microphone today, using the computer microphone. So I've changed the settings and they seem to be working fine. That's good. Genoa Frosinone, well, the odds-on favourites did score first. There was very little interest there. But Frosinone have equalised. Torino, look, deserved favourites here today against Monza. Lazio and Juve, a bit like Napoli-Atalanta. You can look at the scoreline there. That typifies derby-style matches. So watch out Bayern Munich-Dortmund a bit later on. Lazio and Juve is what I would term a derby-style match. Not geographically, but these are two big names likely to cancel each other out. Fiorentina and AC Milan, very strange market, this one. I'd be all over AC Milan ordinarily, but why are they only 2.38 the favourite? It is, as Toya Wilcox would say, a mystery. PSV Eindhoven, having a wonderful season. Go Ahead Eagles odds on today at 7 o'clock, and AZ Alkmaar, usual odds on as well. We just do these odds ons as a way of generating trading angles. Almeria got their first win of the season last week. Fantastic stuff from them. But 2.5 the favourite. The market's telling us give this one short shrift. Barcelona look deserved favourites against Las Palmas. Do their best work at home. They are the best performing of the newly promoted sides. Nothing much doing in the Bundesliga relegation group today, as you can see. 2.2 and 2.7, the favourite. Suggests we leave that one well alone. I am keeping track of the goals as they come in, so you're not missing anything. But I think it's good to show you this element of preparation. Catch up with all of your odds-on favourites in all of the major leagues that you want to trade in. It's a great way of generating the simple trading angles for you. And as you can hear in the background, that's Football 24 going off. That's telling me all of the goals that are coming in, as well as cards, etc. So I can have a glance to my right without going away from this particular screen. It's very useful. Rijeka, very strong favourites at 4 o'clock. Away at Rudez in Croatia. The Czech Fortuna League, Plzeň, Sigma Olomouc and Slavia Prague, the usual suspects, odds-on favourites in the Czech Republic. It's one of our lesser leagues, so we need a compelling argument via the in-play stats if we are to play. Lots and lots of Czech football. Do they do anything else in the Czech Republic apart from play football? Unbelievable, Jeff. Well, Chelsea and Leeds looks exciting in the under-21s. So we'll move our way down to French League 2. Saint-Etienne, fresh from French League 1 a couple of seasons ago, yet to wriggle out of French League 2, but having a good game today. But the only odds-on favourites, that gives you a little bit of a warning sign that it's a tough old coupon in the French League 2 today. All kicking off at the same time as well. It can't be the end of the season yet for Les Frogs. Hertha Berlin, 7:30. Keen to get back into the Bundesliga. I wouldn't play the German Bundesliga dry, although there's some very familiar names. Ingolstadt from the Bundesliga many seasons ago. Dynamo Dresden, very famous name as well. We're moving on down. Again, more German football. Let's just stick to what we know. Super League, split into the relegation and the promotion group. Kafisias, newly promoted, but then I think so are Volos, so it doesn't really appeal. OFI Crete, the only odds-on favourite. Greek Super League 2 is not the same as the Super League, so I wouldn't be looking at that. It's not really covered by Betfair either. Israeli League at Hal, as you can see, all hail to the ale. Always delivering. Excellent trading side. So we're off to I, and no major goals of any importance just yet in the German Bundesliga as we head on to 2:45. We're on to the L's now and the M's. We have a couple of new leagues for you this weekend, and it heralds the beginning of the summer football season. Can you preempt where I'm going here? Well, they're not here. I think they're playing tomorrow. Norwegian Elitserien playing tomorrow, I believe, along with the Swedish Allsvenskan. Two leagues well worth your attention, that's for sure. They're going to deliver for you over the summer where football is a little quiet, but we've got our roster of summer leagues. Norway, Sweden, Finland, Ireland are the major ones. And don't worry, they do generate excellent trading angles throughout. Odds on Maritimo might not, the Exos might not be able to exploit. We'll keep an eye on this one, in play stats wise. I go Portugal Liga 2. At least the odds-on favourites there. Romanian 1 League, well, 2.38 the favourite, doesn't really interest. University Cluj, part of the relegation group, odds-on today in Romania. S comes next. I don't think the Swedish Allsvenskan is playing today. It's certainly playing this weekend. It's a very welcome addition, the Allsvenskan. Lots of famous names. Malmo probably the most famous. Aberdeen odds on against Ross County at 3 o'clock. Rangers odds on as usual against Hibernian. That's the only odds on favourites I do like Hearts. I'll be keeping an eye on Hearts. They have had a good ability to come from behind, but normally it's when the market speaks in their favour. But 2.2 the favourite is not a strong favourite at all. I'm not going to go lower than the Championship in Scotland, just from practical reasons. It's not very liquid on the Betfair market, the Scottish lower tier leagues. So we're getting down to Sweden, or are we? Is it going to be tomorrow or today? Spanish La Liga 2, definite interest there. Leganes, Eibar, Andorra, and Valladolid, 87th minute. And I was just going to say, possibility of a goal in a odds-on favourite match. That's why we do this odds-on favourite exercise. So you can have a little dabble in those late nil-nils, particularly when there's need. You can tell with the live standings. Get used to this because you'll be using this a lot in April, because you're going to get a lot of last days of the season where you'll need to know the impact of a goal. As you can see, the possibility of Levante scoring would have taken them to 51 points, which is a huge boost for them. Valladolid with 3 points takes them all the way up to second spot. So this is a draw you might want to lay, particularly as you had that little red dot pop up just a second ago. I haven't looked at the stats, but lay any match where a win will be significant. Simple, eh? Simple technique. Make sure you lay at 1.25 or lower. There's the Allsvenskan. Great to see. And great to see Malmo straight out of the blocks against Norrköping. Superettan we will be playing as well, but I won't necessarily be researching the Superettan. I will be researching the Allsvenskan once it gets up and running. Swiss Super League, Servette and Lugano are playing newly promoted Lausanne Ushi. I think we're coming to the end of our exercise here. It's an important exercise. Collect your odds on favourites. It's a great way to generate trading angles. TUVWXYZ. I don't think there's any leagues of importance down here. And that's that. So what this exercise has done, it's brought everything into the My Games facility here with a great result for the Geordies. Hopefully, I will hear. You should hear a noise whenever a goal comes in, and this will alert me to any odds-on favourites there. So I'm going to check everything's okay at YouTube. Everyone can hear me okay. That's excellent. So I hope you're having a good Easter. So let's take a first look at the odds-on favourites, or the matches which are in play at the moment. As you can see, Getafe, 4 shots on 10 off and 4 corners against Sevilla. This is a Sevilla nowhere near their usual top 5 status. 4 shots on 10 off 4 corners. Don't forget to just check the timings of the shots on and off target. This one was 13 minutes ago, the last shot on target. Last shot off target was nearly 10 minutes ago. But 65 attacking pressure. Are they going to get an equaliser? Well, the odds are short enough if you fancy a lay. By all means, keep your liability low when you're speculating like this, because the clock's not our friend, but the in-play stats could be. Boom. Have we got an equaliser, or has this market already been suspended prior to our arrival? Well, I haven't had a goal come up just yet, so I can't see from that perspective. So let me just get settled. So I don't see, there we go. So what I normally would do here would be what's called drip laying to win £5 using Fairbot, which is basically the Betfair website, but with all of these great tools that I'll introduce you to throughout. So the first, anything under 1.25 to win a fiver. You see, liability is at its highest there. And I go down to 1.14, which is my personal choice, to win £5. Then go down to 1.09 to win 15 or 16. Keep it under £1 liability. Sorry, my 6 doesn't work for some reason. There we go. So 15. Oh, this is because I think we've had a change in commission. So I'll keep that down. And then 1.06 to win, oh no, to win 11 quid, 1.09, 1.06 to win 15 or 16, because that should, if that's an equaliser, I will be swearing very, very loudly. Let's see.
This market has been suspended.
No, it looks like a second goal for Sevilla, or is it? It could be a red card, I think. This looks like a red card, I suspect. You can see the odds have gone up.
This market has been suspended.
So I don't know what's going on in the Sevilla match, but we know a website which does. Nothing doing just yet. So these are all our odds on favourites. The Sevilla match, it isn't an odds on favourite match. So Control and F. Just want to see what's going on. Unless you're watching the match, you won't know why that market suspended and the odds went up again. Normally that's indicative of a card, but it doesn't seem like anything happened. It could be an 89th minute yellow card for Rico. Getafe, Shemi Mata puts the ball into the net. He's flagged for offside. That's the reason. So we were so close. I think all of them are matched now, or getting matched. Because the clock's not our friend, this is the way I like to do it. Sometimes I will miss the goal because I get involved at 1.25 and the goal has come if the odds are, say, at 1.3. That's just my way. The reason I want to keep liability low is because the clock's not our friend. We're battling against time. But Getafe look up for the equaliser, don't they? So I've got a few more of these lays to be matched. And then we'll see what we will see after that. So as you can see, the internet's a little bit sticky. 4 shots on 10 off on 4 corners, 1.25 expected goals. But again, the clock is not their friend at all. Well done to Hapoel Beersheva, one of the sides in Israel, well worth following from a trading perspective. They tend to produce the goods. Looks like Saint-Etienne having a great time of it away at Valenciennes, and deserving. It seems the market's got them right. Poulsen and Slovan Liberec, probably because they're odds on favourite, that's why I've got them listed. 1.4 for Poulsen. Well, I've had 3 consecutive wins, but in the Conference League, a couple of 0-0s. But in the Czech 1 League, they tend to get goals before half time, so we don't really have a recent precedent for second half goals. This is where you can start looking at the research. I'll just get rid of some of these peripheral matches. We've got our 3 o'clocks on their way as well. Estonia, I don't think I'll be playing the second tier in Estonia. And get to know these sides, KUPS in particular, likely to be vying for the title in the Finnish Veikkausliiga when the season starts very soon. These are precursors to the start of the league season. Looks like an exciting match there. Normally KUPS are a dominant force along with HJK Helsinki. Bayer Leverkusen haven't scored yet. Very unlike them. Don't forget 20-minute rule if you fancy it. What do I mean by the 20-minute rule? Well, any side at kind of odds that you see Bayer Leverkusen at 1.22, you're expecting, this is an assumption, you're assuming there'll be at least a goal before half time. And you're also assuming a 3-0, 3-1, any other home score.
This market has been suspended.
But with the mighty Hoff, you can never assume. I don't know why that's suspended. That could be the end of the Sevilla match. Borussia Mönchengladbach, a good response to going a goal down. I will have to get the research out. You'll find the research here at footballtradingprofits.com. I want to make sure I've just got it to hand. I've done all the work. Let's make use of it. Just want to check out the pre-match spiel about Mönchengladbach, whether they are deserved favourites. And we've got the deep dive spreadsheet, which I hope you'll use as well. Why don't we use that? Straight from the website. It'll give you a chronological list. So let's see if Mönchengladbach are on that list. Well, we've got Napoli, Atalanta, Newcastle and West Ham, 5-0 at half-time and none at full-time. 64% West Ham goals came second half. So I was really itching for that 1-1 at half-time, but West Ham got the lead at half-time. 10 consecutive over 2.5 goal matches. Well, that's coming yet again. So some good stats there. Genoa, Frosinone, Mönchengladbach, well, they've conceded first. 2.25 the favourites, not a strong favourite. 3 consecutive score draws for Mönchengladbach. No draw and 10 away for Freiburg. 10 out of 20 goals conceded at home have come second half. Both teams have scored in 8 of the last 9 matches for Freiburg. Mönchengladbach are unbeaten at home against 8th and lower. The only thing putting me off is the 2.25 the favourite. But if you're looking at this, unbeaten at home against 8th and lower, both teams have scored in the last 6 matches. And Freiburg, both teams have scored in 8 of the last 9. That, if Mönchengladbach stats back it up, could be a possibility to take this Freiburg lead on. Just watch West Ham get beat VAR after being 3-1 up, says Ashley. Totally unbiased, of course. Ashley. Hello, everyone. I'm not Stato. I'm better looking than Stato. Not as rich as him, though. But I did play football with Matt Letizia once. So how about that? Back before I had grey hair. So you can call me Stato if you want. I'll get my dressing gown on and get Frank Skinner to pop along, say hello. So Mönchengladbach, let's just get that match up. I'm putting the software into league order. So we're going to get to Germany down here. Just want to have a look at the reaction from Mönchengladbach, because on the research, at least, they should be equalising, shouldn't they? Leipzig, well, I'd be dreaming of a Mainz goal here, because we know Mainz have that trouble scoring that second goal. So that makes that a very strong trade if Mainz score first. Sigma Olomouc, well, 60 on the attacking pressure index and have conceded first against Pardubice. 1.7 favourite pre-match as well. Are you taken by what you see? It looks a tight match stats-wise. These are the only real stats that we use. Shots on target, shots off target, and corners. Realistically, these are the only 3 stats you need to trade with. Tell you the whole story of the match, but now we've got this attacking pressure index, which has proven very effective in suggesting when the next goal will be scored. When this comes up to 90 or 100, it's normally very, very accurate. So we've got Mönchengladbach. You want to pull the trigger with them? 2 shots on, 4 off and 3 corners, certainly on seasonal stats. You'll be with them. Bayer Leverkusen, just the 1 shot on target. Normally with a Hoff, we do see a goal before half-time. We can have a look at that one if you want, but it wouldn't surprise me if the mighty Hoff scored first. They're totally unreadable. There we go. We've got £2.85 for a £24 profit. That's a really good risk-reward ratio there. And if it doesn't come in, if Sevilla do hold on to the win, your liability is kept very, very low indeed. Now we're going to see some surprises at this April, as you saw yesterday with Cambridge, I think it was, and another side beginning with C, Carlisle, I think, both getting unexpected wins. One of them against a 1.25 shot, who they won. They beat 1-3. And what did these two have in common? One of them was 20th, and the other one's 24th in the league, i.e., desperate need for points. So we're going to get that. It adds more spice to the trading. Just another thing you have to try to factor in, potential shock result for teams in need. Now, this is normal for a 1.22 shot. I would normally go to the halftime score market, although just the one shot on target for Leverkusen. It's been pretty poor so far. Any unquoted. So this is how I've normally played a 1.2 favourite if they haven't scored by the 20-minute mark. 1-0, 2-0, and any unquoted. Now, you can play with the stake available if you want. Required profit, and that will spread the profit equally. I like the variable profit. I like to get rewarded if I can get them to score 3 goals. And at odds of 55, you can fill your boots here, and the liability will be short. And don't say they don't come in, because they do. We've had plenty of examples in the last 20 minutes of matches, sides scoring 3 goals. But I wouldn't be surprised, as I say, if the Hoff score first. So that could scupper this completely. And again, always have in mind your liability. I just want a token profit, really, for the 1-0. This is what I'm aiming at, the big rewards, or the bigger rewards, a little further down the line. This looks at a liquid enough market at the moment. They're normally, these markets can be, suspenders already, just as I was about to place the play.
This market has been suspended.
Has there been a goal? Probably has been a goal. What a pity. 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted half-time score market. And the Hoff have scored first. I told you. I told you, the mighty Hoff. 33rd minute. So, blessing in disguise there. You just don't know with Hoffenheim.
Goal. Bayer Leverkusen TSG Hoffenheim is 0-1.
And that's Dr. Stephen Hawking. I don't spare any expense bringing the stars in to do the scores for you. So that's an interesting one. Let's have a look at the goal. Is it a penalty for the mighty Hoff? And we've got Luton scoring as well. And I'm not hearing these as they're coming in. So I really should be hearing these. So excuse me. I'm not a techie, I'm afraid, so this is a real pain. And I haven't got details of the Luton goal coming in Football 24 either. So I don't know what's going on there. Yes, they both come in 2nd minute. That's a tricky one now because they're such strong favourites. This is it. This is what I'm after. So I'll try that one. Okay. Let's have a look at the markets. Hi, Kevin. Nice to see you. Let's have a look at the markets then. Bring up the Tottenham match, and we've got to bring up the Leverkusen match we know all about. Let's get the Tottenham match up now. It's very tricky in the Tottenham match. We know both teams to score is a very, very strong angle for both Luton and for Tottenham Hotspur. We know that Luton did lead 0-3. We could do with that today at Bournemouth. So they do have that second goal in them. It's a very tricky one, this. They could get a second goal. Might not win, mind you. This is just one of those matches, a Tottenham match. It's incredibly difficult to find any value because the goal has come so early. It's hardly impacted upon the match. Having said that, Tottenham's odds have doubled. Look at Leipzig, warming up nicely against Mainz, a side who just don't have that second goal in them. So looks like Leipzig are going to score first. What a pity. Freiburg could be on for a second goal. I haven't got involved there just yet, but on pre-match research form, you're with Mönchengladbach. You know that Freiburg score and concede, but why will Mönchengladbach only 2.25 or 2.1 the favourite. Let's have a look. We've got the Tottenham matchup. Now, Leverkusen, highly likely to equalise, but will they equalise before half-time? It wouldn't surprise me. Don't forget, Hoffenheim scored 2 goals against Leverkusen last time these two met, and I think they did lead 0-2 in that one before Leverkusen got a 3-2 win at the mighty Hoff. So you could adapt this now by Dutching, and instead of the 1-0, turn that into the 1-1. Any unquoted? Well, those are ridiculous odds, 2.92. So it looks like, there we go, up to 15.10. Looks like it's turned illiquid all of a sudden. That's a pity. It's flitting between 8s all the way up to 19s. I would look at the 2-1 perhaps, the 1-1 and the 2-1. Although it wouldn't surprise me if this was a loss at half-time. The Hoff have just been an imponderable, very hard team to read. So 20s. But this Leverkusen for Xavi Alonso have been scoring for fun. So let's have a bit of a... Let's hope it's not 3-1 at half-time. And then let's hope they Hoff don't get encouraged and score a second. So there we go. 11 to 48, £6.95 liability. That's all right. Now, if it's 0-1 at half-time, we can get involved again, can't we? You might want to lay over 1.5 goals. Unlikely it's going to come in. This is what I call insurance. This will insure you against the 0-1. And I look to win the amount I want to play with, which in this particular case is £40. That will be my standard stake for these live streams. So I'm using it as a backer's stake. So if you're at betfair.com, it's the backer's stake, not liability. And is this the equaliser already? Or is it 0-2? We await with interest. Now, the Tottenham match, I'm not going to rush into. There's no value. As I've said in previous matches like this, delaying creates value for you in the Tottenham match, unless you want to play the half-time markets. So we've laid over 1.5 goals. We've got the 0-1 covered. You probably want to go match odds, but there's still going to be odds on favourite. So there's very, very little value to be had. So I've laid over 1.5 goals, cover that 0-1. I'm just going to give it some breathing space and hope that Hoffenheim can stay sturdy until at least, or hopeful, we can get evens or higher. It's a bit of an ask. It's 0.18 all the way to evens for Leverkusen. Let's have a look at Tottenham Hotspur. We know both teams to score is a very strong angle for both of these two sides, but we do remember that 0-3 lead against Bournemouth for Luton does suggest they could have that second goal in them. So at this stage, you could do both teams to score no, which is the same, and that's very, very high, isn't it? So we could do that. That covers the 0-2. That covers the 0-3. You just saw what happened against Bournemouth. Now, in this particular case, this is where software comes in handier. I'm looking to win the amount I want to play with. £40 again. So this is the equivalent of backing both teams to score. Yes. No, we're backing both teams to score. No, sorry, we're laying both teams to score. Yes. These are exactly the same, really. So I'm looking to win the amount of money I want to spend, which is £40. Now, personally, I want to cover the 1-2 in case Tottenham gets stuck at 1-2. Now, again, it's to win £40. It's going to be very, very short liability because it's so early in the match. Now, you've got your, in case Luton do what they did against Bournemouth, you've got your 0-1 covered. You've got your 0-2 covered. You've got your 0-3 covered. You've got any score to nil for Luton, covered by both teams to score no. It's a very good angle, and thanks to John H for that excellent idea. Great hedging tool, both teams to score no, particularly when it's liquid, particularly when the goal has come very, very early, like in this particular case. So now match odds are going to be far too short. I don't think we have a play unless you go half time, as you can see here. Correct score, normally 3-0, 3-1, any other home score for a 1.22 shot. But, well, 3-1 is at 9.4, any other home is at 2.58. And 3-0, 3-1. Well, we don't have a 3-0, do we? Because Luton have scored first. So it would just be 3-1, any other home score. Against very, very skinny, isn't it? You've got no real leeway here at all. So it's just one of those matches. You'd love to trade it, but there's absolutely no value to be had unless you delay or you work in the market. That's an option. A £40 stake on any other home win and 2-1. So if you play that, you've got 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 1-2. Any other home win, 3, that's 4 goals or more. Not the 2-1, want the 3-1. 3-1 covered. So that's an option. I'm just taking you through, but the probable conclusion is the goals come far too early. Half time, that's an option there. Laying Luton at 2.74 is a ready option. Very short, or shorter than their match odds, put it that way. Because you're giving yourself an automatic time restriction. So that's an option. Half-time score is an option. You're getting it slightly better odds here, aren't you? 5.3 and 7.8 for the 2-1, any unquoted. So that's an option. You're desperately trying to seek out some value. Werder Bremen have been red carded against Wolfsburg. This is a Wolfsburg who loves their score draws on the Diana doors. So can I take advantage of the Werder Bremen red card? I'll show you a technique how to look at that. So variable profit Dutching again. Looking at the potential for Tottenham to, it's not the huge odds though, is it? 5.3 and 6.6. But, and your liability is going to suffer as well, as you can see. Risk reward is looking pretty poor. So if you want to limit your stake available using something like Fairbot, this is where it comes in so handy. You could do something like that, at least have an angle in. So if I'm using the standard 40 stakes, I would do that. So just as a change, instead of doing my variable profit Dutching, I'll do that option there. So we've got the 1-1, 2-1, any unquoted. Making an assumption, of course, that Luton will down tools. But no shot on target yet. What you tend to see from sides like Luton, who have been on the back of a pummeling, is an overreaction defensively. So we might be seeing that overreaction defensively, as you saw in the Nottingham Forest match, to conceding 4 goals in the second half. Working on that defence, and look at Tottenham, they need to work on that attack, having failed to score away at Fulham. So hopefully there's no problems with the Tottenham side. I do like to see Richarlison. He's the main culprit for their positive performances under Postecoglou. You can get the team news here at soccer24.com. I'm just looking at the goals coming in, nothing of great importance yet. Very quiet in the Bundesliga. Oh Chong, with his very big hair, getting the first goal. Lineups, let's have a quick look. So Son up front, no Richarlison today, but great to see Maddison back. Kulusevski's playing, Timo Werner, and Leipzig have scored first against Mainz. It was rather coming, wasn't it? Our trade angle was simple. Mainz don't score that second goal. So we really wanted Mainz to score first. So Dr. Stephen Hawking is a bit late to the show, not telling us about that one. And again, that's leading me to just check. Yes, it is still live. Okay. So that's going. We could have played in the halftime market with that particular match, given the pre-match stats. But you never know with this Mainz side. 2 shots on, 6 off on a corner. Looks like Leverkusen are warming up nicely. And the longer we're delaying, I've got that 0-1 covered. So the longer it stays 0-1, the more profit we will potentially make. 48 dangerous attacks to 11 tells you everything you need to know about the attacking prowess of this Leverkusen side. I'm just checking here, make sure you're all okay. Good stuff. Interested with Sigma Olomouc, but maybe 1.7 the favourite. It's not most compelling in-play stats for Sigma Olomouc. And Osasuna have scored first against Almeria, who got their first win of the season last week. Almeria. It's not a match, probably, for us to trade. Let's get rid of some of this lower tier stuff while the scores aren't coming in. So let's get rid of, that's it. Dinamo Tbilisi, probably lacking liquidity. Saint Etienne look like they've done the job. Second tier in Estonia. And the Ryman et al. Get rid of all that. Have our first peek at the Premier League, see how these teams are getting on. Bowers Pitsea, the mighty Bowers Pitsea. Sheffield United against Fulham. Looks like Fulham are warming up to the task. Sheffield United, as ever, very, very one-dimensional. Trying desperately to get a 0-0 at half-time. Trying to nick that late winner. That's the Sheffield United way. Fulham have been going along very quietly with some impressive form. Not really in keeping with what I thought. But let's have a look. Scored 2+ goals only 4 times away. Okay, 4 wins in 6 for Fulham. Losses against Aston Villa and Wolves. The Aston Villa one, no surprise. Wolves, probably a tightish match up there, but good recent form for Fulham. Only 3 wins all season for Sheffield United, though. No win in 5 at home. They've conceded in the last 12. They've failed to score in the last 3 at home. It's all looking a bit pitiful for the Blades. They need to get Sean Bean off the bench and onto the pitch. And rather inevitably, Wolfsburg opening goal. What I do with the red cards, you're just looking for an increase in shots on, shots off in corners in reaction to the red. But you sometimes get matches like this where you'll get the goal even though the in-play stats don't suggest a very strong argument for an expectant goal. So you can see Bayer Leverkusen are warming up nicely. Oh no, it's not, it's half time. So that's keeping our liability low in the Leverkusen half-time market. But expectation second half now. By delaying, we've just eked out a little bit more potential profit there. So let's have a look at the Leverkusen match. Now this stake is probably a little bit too high for me, realistically, in playing a half-time market, because you've got a natural, but we've got a natural time limit. We've got 25 minutes to go. Let's have a look at Leverkusen. We were at about 1.8 odds in the match odds. Are we going to get nearer to evens? There we go, as you can see. So I've still got the 0-1 covered, and we'll be in profit there already. A massive 36p. Don't spend it all at once, please. But this is acting as insurance. It's got that 0-1 covered. We don't have to get involved just yet, because it's half time. but you're getting at least evens now about Leverkusen. And Hoff are still relatively high odds to lay, but I like to half stake, so we'll have a less of a liability on the draw if we get a late draw. 3 shots off target for Tottenham. A good defensive display so far from Luton Town. No shots on target for Tottenham. Working our way down the Superettan and the Allsvenskan. Watching briefs really this opening matches of the season, but as I say, these leagues will serve you well over the summer months, as well as the tennis. If you can get yourself interested in tennis, April is the time for it, with Monaco and all roads leading to 3 Grand Slam tournaments this summer. So I will be following some of the tennis this summer. It's a great time to do so. Nagano is top of the league in the Secunda League. Well worth looking at league positions, particularly those in desperate need of points. Andorra, for example, odds-on favourite Andorra today. Pay attention. The market thinks they can do something. They desperately need the points, of course. And 20-minute rule, well, Rangers not reading my script. A bit like Bayer Leverkusen. 1.22 favourite gets that goal. That's what we expect. So if it was a 22 to 25 minutes at 0-0, possibility of going into the half-time score market. For Rangers, 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted. So it's been pretty quiet so far. Lots of odds on favourites scoring first, like Aberdeen as well against Ross County. Now, I'm not getting a lot of these scores coming up, which is strange. I think I've got the SPL picked out. Football 24, you can pick out your leagues. Chelsea opening goal against Burnley, so I'm not getting any of these in at all. I don't know what's going on. And Crystal Palace scoring first. So my apologies. Normally Football 24 is a lot better than this. It hasn't given me any of these Premier League scores at all. So I don't know what's going on. Desperately need to have a feed. And it's all ticked. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm not getting any of these Premier League scores coming in. That's why I've been a little quiet with the Premier League. But let's go there now. So let's work our way down to English Premier League. Worth looking at, I suppose, but it's a very unappealing match with Nottingham Forest having had trouble scoring that second goal recently. Is the Chelsea goal disallowed against Burnley? It's yet another short price favourite pre-match. 1.28. So again, we're expecting, like we did with the Rangers match, and like we did, there we go, the Chelsea correction has popped up on Football 24. So Chelsea ordinarily 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted in the half-time score market. Now, not all of these will come in, as you saw with Leverkusen, but vast majority of them will pay out very well over the course of a season. Just had a goal disallowed then, Chelsea, so that's a potential in there. Tottenham are warming up. Could do with a goal before half-time for them. And league leaders in the Secunda division, Eibar, have just scored first. That's a pity. Having a good season. So Chelsea against Burnley. It looks forlorn hope for Burnley today. But if you're strictly going to be following this 1.2 the favourite or 1.3 the favourite and lower, my general rule is 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted half-time score market if you don't get a goal by the 20-minute mark. So let's have a look at the Chelsea match. Now, the problem with Burnley is, as you saw yesterday with the likes of Cambridge and Carlisle, Burnley are one of those sides desperate need for points and could pull off the unexpected. That's what makes trading at this stage of the season a little more trickier than usual, because we've got these factors, the need for points. So ordinarily, I would be going half-time score market. if it's liquid enough. Any unquoted at 29s, 2-0, 9.8 looks a little skinny, and 3.35 is the usual for the 1-0. Don't forget, it'll be, try to keep your liability. If your stake is a tenner, stake is 40 ordinarily, then my liability here is a tenner, so it's about a quarter of my usual stake. And as ever, I load up on any unquoted. Chelsea, again, have been going under the radar a little, putting in some good performances under Pochettino of late. We'll get to that in the pre-match research. And as ever, just a token profit on the 1-0. And that movement suggests that one of these odds has gone short, probably the 2-0. Again, a suffering from a lack of liquidity, which is a pity. 1-0 is a little high. I'd normally try just get under a tenner. That looks okay, but the liability's usually shorter than that. Now, if you're having trouble with the liquidity in the half-time score markets, you have the half-time first half goals markets, which are neutral. So that's all right, I suppose. So if we can get a Chelsea goal before half-time, we're making an assumption that Burnley won't score first. That's what 1.28 the favourite suggests, okay? Sometimes these won't come off, but as I say, the ones that do come off, I think the other week we got a 65 quid profit, I think, on Arsenal scoring 3 goals before half-time when it was 0-0 after 20 minutes. So let's hope Chelsea are in the mood. And as I say, I think they've been in pretty decent form. That's the research. Only 2 defeats for Chelsea since the 27th of December came against Liverpool and Wolves. So that's pretty good stuff, isn't it? Gone very much under the radar. Both teams have scored in the last 6 matches. Chelsea have scored in the last 7. Only 1 win for Burnley since Boxing Day. That was poor stuff. No win in 5 away. They conceded in the last 11 and the last 5 away. So Chelsea, as I say, putting together a good run. 4 wins in 5 at home. So they could simply outscore Burnley today. As you can see, 1.3 the favourite, suggesting goals before half-time. Let's catch up with the other Premier League matches. Bournemouth and Everton, a very tough match to unpack, this one. Everton are in all sorts of trouble at the moment. So let's go back to our watch list. This is the watch list at the top here. See, Bayer Leverkusen, well, second half hasn't begun yet, but do be wary of the second half. You might want to place your plays as the second half begins. We're hoping this is usual win for Leverkusen, but you know what the Hoff are like. They did get 2 goals against this lot in the last head-to-head, 2-3 win. It was 0-2. Yeah, I think this went to 2-2. So Hoffenheim might like playing Leverkusen. So just wait for the half-time or the second half to begin. Mönchengladbach, well, it's pretty much even Stevens here. On pre-match form, you're with an equaliser for Mönchengladbach, given the both teams to score angle for Freiburg. Are you taken by the pre-match angles? Because certainly shots on target, very equal. Shots off target, similar. 6 corners to 0. Well, it's emphatic in favour of Mönchengladbach. Pre-match odds, though, 2.10 the favourite. Not a compelling pre-match favourite there. But I'll just show you, if you wanted to play that Mönchengladbach Freiburg match, how I would approach it. So we'll bring the match up. As ever, I personally take insurance out. That's just something I'm used to doing. It's going to be relatively high, of course, because it's half-time. Laying over 1.5 goals to win the amount of money you want to spend, which is £40 minus commission. And that's a £7.60. Call it an insurance premium. Now this is probably better for both teams to score no, but that's going to be far too short now. 2.98, a little bit too short. So I tend to look at that 1.19 here. Then I look at the Mönchengladbach +1. That's telling me the market doesn't really fancy the equaliser. Normally if it's 1.8 or lower, you've got a market confidence in it. And Torino have scored first against Monza. That's not a surprise. Nothing else to speak of. Getting a lot of these lower tier leagues. Have I done this incorrectly on Football 24? I picked out all of the leagues earlier on. So I'll just you can choose your leagues at Football 24. I've done all of this pre-live chat, but it didn't save. You don't want all of the score lines coming in. You just want the ones which will catch your attention in leagues that you're interested in, because there's so many Czech leagues, so many Brazilian leagues that we don't play. We do not want these score lines coming in. Or the Scottish Low League, Scottish High League. Russia we can't play. So please excuse me, I did all this work prior, so you wouldn't have to sit through it, but it didn't save. I've got as far as M, so we're working our way up. Up to Latvia. So many leagues you don't need. And then we can hone in on the leagues of importance. So we're up to Honduras now. All the time, I'm going to put the Mönchengladbach play on. This comes with risks because 2.1 the favourite. It's not a very strong favourite. But we've got the both teams to score angle for Freiburg. Your only hope with both teams to score is that it's not 0-2 to 1-2. Rather, it's 0-1 to 1-1. That's what you're hoping for. So we're up to the C's. We're nearly home. Cambodia, we won't be following. And we've got all these damn Brazilian leagues. So many of them. So we've got rid of all of Brazil, Bolivia, Belarus, Bangladesh. I don't think we'll be playing Bangladesh today. And the Aussies I don't need to get rid of because the Aussies are already done. Argentina, Algeria, Albania, and there we are. We end up with all of the elite leagues at the top, so that's excellent. So hopefully now I'll be getting a lot clearer look at the goals as they come in. There we go. Excellent. So Mönchengladbach, normally what I would do here, make sure you untick the profit box. And with the stake I've got insured, £39.20, which is £40 all told. I go to Mönchengladbach +1. What is Mönchengladbach +1? In this specific market, and this market only, Mönchengladbach are given a goal head start. So, in backing Mönchengladbach +1 here, you're in a lost position at the moment because it's 1-1 in this particular market. It's 0-1 with a goal to Mönchengladbach given in this market becomes 1-1. So that's a draw. If Mönchengladbach score the next goal, it will be 2-1 to Mönchengladbach in this market only. Now this backing Mönchengladbach +1 is exactly the same as laying Freiburg. You should see a similar return because you're covering the draw, which I like. Now, the killer scoreline here is the 0-2 to Freiburg. That will mess up our plans. So I'm hoping on that both teams to score element to catch Freiburg out and for Mönchengladbach to get themselves the next goal. Second half has begun by Leverkusen and Hoffenheim. Let's have a look. I don't know what's happened here. There we go. This is that's the problem, the 0-2. So I did warn you. If you didn't get on, and you'll note I didn't pass this on to Telegrammers, but I could do now. This is far better value. So that was a concern. 2.1 the favourite. It's not a strong favourite, is it? I know Freiburg, both teams could score, but as I said to you, explaining, is it going to be 0-2 to 1-2, or is it going to be 0-1 to 1-1? This did come with risks, but now, if you didn't get on, you'll hear me pass this on to Telegram. It's a very early goal at the beginning of the second half for Freiburg, so you pretty much got the whole half for Mönchengladbach. And if they score a single goal, they score the next goal, and soon, then you can get a lot of your liability back on the +1 market. I will also be backing Mönchengladbach to look to win over 100 quid.
Goal.
Keep your liability down to around tenner. The only reason I'm doing this, I'm just topping up in the hope that Mönchengladbach will score. Don't forget that Freiburg, both teams to score angle. That's what we're hoping on. So I will certainly pass this on to Telegrams because it's reduced liability. Much reduced liability at 0-2. It's a good scoreline at the beginning of the second half to take on a side. Mönchengladbach v Freiburg is 0-2 to Freiburg. Very unexpected opening goal at the beginning of the second half for Freiburg. They do have a strong both teams to score pattern, so I've laid Freiburg at 1.22, backed Mönchengladbach in the match odds at 19.5. All we need is a Mönchengladbach goal as early as possible, and we'll have a potential angle in. And it will also reduce your liability here, which was very unfortunate. This will drop to maybe £12 liability, which is excellent. You get 2/3 of your liability back. Of course, we'd like to be making green screens, but not every day. We got to that lovely Kilmarnock one the other week. £7 for a potential £300 profit on Killy. Leverkusen waking up, 103 attacking pressure index. I'm just going to pop over. I haven't placed my plays yet. Every time I delay, I could miss the goal, but I am going to get better profit. Up to 2.14. So I'm going to split my stake. So we're going to have a half stake as liability to lay Hoffenheim and half stake to back Leverkusen. They're warming up. As you can see, you've got that. We've laid over 1.5 goals to win £40 minus commission. We've gone to the match odds, and now all of that £40 is on as a loss on Hoffenheim. If we get a draw out of it, we get a lower liability. If we get the win for Leverkusen, we'll start to motor. So as you can see, even delaying now, that's gone up from 2.14 to 2.26. So the longer you wait, the better the odds. That's why this used to be called DRT, delay, react, trade. The longer you delay, the bigger the odds. So I'm just going to pass this one on. Just in the middle of the live stream at the moment, so I can't write out these plays. Leverkusen versus Hoffenheim is 0-1. Yes, Hoffenheim did score 2 against Leverkusen last time, but Leverkusen warming up nicely. I've laid over 1.5 goals, as is usual, to cover that 0-1. Match odds, you can back Leverkusen at a tasty enough 2.28. Lay Hoffenheim at 4.1 or lower, half stake as liability. If you want to see how the plays are placed in the market, come along to the YouTube channel, which is at footballtradingprofits.com's research section. So let's hope this is not the first loss of the season for Leverkusen. And Burnley red card will already impact on that half-time market. It's come in the 41st minute though, so looks like Burnley may be surviving unless a penalty follows the red card. So where were we? We were at the half-time score. So it's a suspended market with the red, but I wonder if it's a red card. I'm not too sure. Everton have never failed to win matches. They have not won in the last 5. Oh, yeah, I've got this starting in the way. Sorry. I can't. Never failed to win in 6 matches, says Bosun. They've not won in the last 5. Thank you very much for that, Bosun. Take a brave man to side with this current Everton. So that's the Burnley red. There is no, doesn't look like there's a penalty. If you want to follow the match, the research there, penalty kick 41st minute. Excellent. Going to review the penalty decision. We could do with that penalty coming in for the half time. But looks like VAR is going to scupper our things again. So hopefully that penalty kick will be awarded. Penalty to Chelsea. Going to review the penalty decision using VAR. Let's see what happens. Indeed, please give us a penalty. Then we'll get out of the market unscathed. Now, normally you'll be hearing whenever goals come in, like this Partick one, but there's just some issues with my settings because I'm using, as you can see, sound output there. So just need confirmation that there will be a Chelsea penalty. Yes, hopefully. Knowing our luck though, as traders, you tend to get Stevie Wonder taking the penalties just when you need goals to be scored. So prepare to start swearing very loudly if Chelsea miss this one. Just need to make sure it's confirmed. Oh, Vincent Kompany sent off as well for Burnley. Yeah, for his challenge. Well, he's the manager, so I wonder if he's playing today. They could do with him. Just need confirmation of that penalty then. So I'll have to wait and see. Yep, Palmer's taking it. Cole Palmer's normally very good with these, but why hasn't there been a goal come in? Yes, that's your first goal. So you come out of the Chelsea half-time market unscathed. It took it's just bad luck for Burnley, isn't it? This is what happens when you're at the wrong end of the table. Let's hope that Cole Palmer, there we go, job done. So at least you're making a profit in the Chelsea match. You're coming out of it unscathed. So that liability is not going to be a problem. Now, depending on how much extra time is available at the end of the half, that 2-0 might be open to us. And that will be a nice, just over 2-1 return on investment. But we come out of it unscathed. That's the important thing. Your liability plus a little bit of profit will be returned to your account. So thank you for Cole Palmer getting the penalty there. Well done to Luton Town, keeping Tottenham very, very quiet indeed. Let's have a look at the shots on target with just the one. This reminds me of Peterborough yesterday. Similar odds, 1.25, and they suffered yesterday as well. So a lack of shots on target for Peterborough, the cause of their woes. A lack of shots on target for Tottenham, Don't forget they failed to score. Look at this, 1.25 shots. We did, well, I did back Peterborough at 30s at 0-3. They did get the goal back to bring the liability down. But so be careful with Tottenham, particularly the shots on and off target at this stage of the season. Very reminiscent of Peterborough. 2 shots on target for the whole match. All very well, all of this lot. 13 shots off target, including the block shots. But very, very poor, like Tottenham at the moment. So that reminds me of Peterborough yesterday. Because you might have to be a little bit cautious with this for Tottenham. Dangerous attacks, yet certainly no problem with those. But just the 1 shot on target. Very reminiscent of Peterborough's at exactly the same odds, 1.25 and lower. So be careful. Bayer Leverkusen coming to the hour mark. Surely the Hoff can't pull off an unexpected win. We do have the 0-1 covered. This is a great
Goal.
example for delaying.
Gladbach SC Freiburg is 0-3.
There we go. That's put that one to bed. 2.1 the favourite. But where's that both teams to score angle for Freiburg? Not to be. So we'll have to say goodbye to that one. So half time, hopefully we get a good Tottenham team talk. Don't forget Luton fell apart last week, second half, against Bournemouth. So you're wondering if they'll do the same again today. Bayer Leverkusen, 97 attacking pressure index, 16 shots, 4 corners, but it still remains 0-1 coming to the hour mark there. Could do with a goal from Bayer Leverkusen at some point. Looks like Torino Monza we don't need to follow anymore. It's job done. The red card helping massively. Genoa and Frosinone, don't have a strong opinion there. It's a very tight match. The Greek Super League, already a 2-goal lead for Volos at 2.25. This might be one of those matches for me, but Kifisias are newly promoted, so they're not very reliable. But I was just going to say 2.25 is the favourite. Normally, it's suggesting that you take on that 2-0 lead early on. Leipzig, I'm sure it's 1-0, not 0-0, so that could suggest problems with the feed. No, I thought it was 1-0 to RB Leipzig before half-time. That's interesting. Rangers and Hibs. Let's get back to Saturday. I'm sure RB Leipzig are leading. No, it's 0-0. So possibility of laying the draw there in that Leipzig match. That's the best value angle in. I'm sorry there's a problem with the scores today on the doors. I'm just not getting the usual quick score lines coming in. And that's Rangers and Hibs, a Hibs equaliser there. So possibility second half of laying the draw, as we're about to do here. So I would, personally, I'd be laying to my £40 stake. Of course, the longer you delay, the lower the draw odds will be. Now there's a number of options with this lay the draw. One of which, if I can find it, is to use, I probably won't be able to find it here, is to use specialist staking plans so you can stay in for the full 90 minutes. So I use a lay 1 to 4 staking plan. It gave us a very nice profit. And the simplest thing to do, if you're not making a profit with it this season, is just barely, oh no, let's go back here. So again, we're just at break even because we've got a bit of a liability. We've had 3 consecutive lay the draws not come in second half. So we need to up that. Hopefully Leipzig can help. So this is called the lay 1 to 4 staking plan. It's a very good staking plan. It puts your losses to one side to be won back eventually. So we're getting in at about 3.4. So we'll wait and see the result there. That would be to a £40 stake if you're using the lay 1 to 4 staking. So it's been a poor run, Union Berlin, Nacional and Tonana. And another poor run there, Partizan Ajax in Middlesbrough. But last season, it was well worth following. And I'm sure once we get some of our old pals from Gothenburg, from Norway, the Elite Serien as well, then we'll be seeing a lot of these lay the draws second half. That sound you heard there, that's the normal sound.
Goal. Sigma Olomouc Sparduavice is 0-2.
Okay. That's suggesting that this is working now. Odds on favourites. PSV have scored first already. Absolutely no surprise. Was it a 20-minute play? Well, it's bang on the button for 20 minutes. So a bit unlucky with Rangers and with PSV that they've scored bang on the 20-minute
This
mark.
market has been suspended.
As you know, 1.33 shot. You're looking at, if it's 0-0 after 20 minutes, 0-1, 0-2, any unquoted. And what a pity.
Goal. Sigma Olomouc Sparduavice is 0-2.
Pardubice, not Dr. Stephen Hawking getting his Czech teams wrong. So we can get rid of that one. And we can get rid of the Paulsen and Slovan Liberec. Leverkusen, a frustrating afternoon so far, 64 minutes in. But at least we've got that 0-1 covered. So we're okay at the moment. But the problem is, the longer this goes on, if Bayer Leverkusen equalise late on, you will be making a loss on this particular match. You'll make a loss. You lose your insurance premium by laying over 1.5 goals, and you'll lose your profit on the your loss on the draw. So, and Rangers make it 2-1 already. But what a pity. That was a primed for a lay the draw second half in the Rangers match. Pity about that. So let's look through some of these. Eintracht Frankfurt and Union Berlin 0-0. Normally, when when Union Berlin are inserted as favourite, they deliver. They're not inserted as favourite today. You'd be expecting Frankfurt to do something today. Let's have a look at the research. Union Berlin, only 2 defeats since the 20th of December for Frankfurt, came away. No defeat and 6 at home. Both teams have scored in the last 6 matches. Frankfurt at home are unbeaten against 8th and lower. 0-3 win last head-to-head. 10 out of 12 goals conceded at home have come in the first half. So they've avoided that obstacle, Frankfurt. And with Union Berlin, I didn't research because the basic rule for us recently with Union Berlin is if the market inserts them as favourite, then they tend to deliver. And I'll show you the reasoning behind that while it's a little quiet. Leverkusen, tumbleweeds in their match at the moment. We've expected a lot more out of them. This could be a late session. Is this going to be their first defeat of the season by Leverkusen against the mighty Hoff? Goodness me. This is my reasoning for Union Berlin. It's very interesting to have a look at their season-long form or lack thereof. So watch out for this next season because it's been very, very effective. Now, answer me this. When you've had form like this, why are you suddenly inserted as favourite here, here, and here? And look what they've done when inserted as favourite. They don't lose. Coming from behind there as well. So that piqued my interest. If your form is so poor, why is the market inserting you as favourite for these sets of matches? pretty much every single match they've won, they have been a favourite. Indeed, they were against Werder Bremen as well. So interesting. That's why you'll be favouring Frankfurt today, if that pattern continues. So we've got that Chelsea goal. We can get rid of that. Just got to look for the second half. Tottenham suspiciously poor shots on target is all I can say there, just the one. Frankfurt warming up to the task if you wanted to lay the draw there. It's getting to about even, 67th minute. Crystal Palace and Forest I don't have a strong angle on. Nottingham Forest, as I say, failing to score that second goal of late. That could see them in a spot of bother, as you can see. Yes, they've played Liverpool, Man U, Brighton. But a sudden lurch towards a lack of that second goal, even though I think Awoniyi's back. The Nigerian goal scorer, Awoniyi, should be back in the side. So let's look at some of the matches we've been avoiding. Super Etna and Allsvenskan, great to see it back, but a little too early in the season to get us excited just yet, at least from a research standpoint. Andorra and Mirandes, one of these types of matches, you'd be laying the late draw because of the need for points. 22nd against 17th. Eibar, 4th in the league, are doing what you expect. Almeria, 0-2 down. Well, not a second consecutive win today for them, I don't think. I think we can get rid of that match. Rangers and Hibs, I was waiting for that 1-1 at half-time. We could have done a nice lay the draw second half there. 2.55 the favourite, Motherwell and St Mirren. If you're going to play that, play it via in-play stats or not at all. St Johnstone and Dundee, 2.38 the favourite. Aberdeen, well, an equaliser from Ross County for the 1.55 favourites, Aberdeen. I haven't researched this one, so I might have to keep an eye on that. Hearts have already scored first against Kilmarnock. Been a very good side to follow, Hearts, generally speaking. And we've just got that indication of the PSV goal coming in now. So there might be some trouble with Football 24 today. Union Cluj, 1.75 odds on. Well, yet to begin. Portuguese Secunda, a league worth following. Got a red card for Maritimo, but can Liexos take advantage? Well, we'll get to the end of the match. Unlikely. AVS were top of the league, but this is a top two clash. So this might be one to target a late lay of the draw, because it's vital to take points off your near market rival. Second against first. So it's going to be a toughie. Santa Clara fresh, I think, from the Primera Division. Guimarães, 2 shots on 5 off and 5 corners. Good start from them. Aruca, again from the... Oh, they are in the Premier League, of course, yes. 1.73 playing Forenza. Looking quite good for them. Touch of the old Leverkusens about that attacking pressure index. Normally, when you see that, you might want to look at half-time, and I can show you, if you wanted to play, how you would play. So I'll just start that one. Aruca. This would be speculative, based on the in-play stats only, but as you saw with that other side, was it Leipzig? I'm not sure. Yeah, Leipzig had that goal disallowed before half-time, but their in-play stats suggested a goal before half-time. So go straight to the half-time markets, see if you can get some low odds. Half-time score, you'll be favouring Aruca here. Just, if you can keep the liability low, you might get yourself a decent payout, particularly on the 2-0. Anyone quoted is asking a lot with 15 minutes remaining, but if they're such a dominant side, let's see if they can do it. And at odds of 110 now, you can really, really load up here. 22s for the 2-0. And again, it's going to be a low liability, this one, which is quite nice. So you can have a nice old play. 3.75 again, like the Chelsea match. We just want that token goal before half-time. We're more interested in the 2-0. Of course, you've got other options. You can keep your profit throughout, or stake required profit. that's ridiculous because the market's obviously gone a bit illiquid all of a sudden. This is the problem you're playing with in these half-time score markets. £184 matched only. If you can get the decent score, as we had a second ago with fours for the 1-0, I would take that. As long as you keep your liability low and you can get matched. Don't forget, you're unlikely to be able to trade out of this one because of the lack of liquidity. So we've got 4.1, 2-0 at 21s, any unquoted at 150. That's okay for me. But there's a big gap, 24-second gap, I believe. So you've got the 1-0, 2-0 matched. Now this is purely speculative based on the pre-match, so the in-play stats. You could do that, any unquoted getting matched, but again it's left 85, so we'll wait on that. But that's based purely on this. Look, 88 attacking pressure index, 5 shots on, 6 off and 5 corners, 26 dangerous attacks to 10. So let's just go through some of the other matches we've been neglecting. I'll work my way down and back up because I normally don't get to the bottom here. Lustenau against Swarovski Tyrol. Again, you saw 2.10 with Mönchengladbach and how that turned out. 2.10 here for Tyrol doesn't make this a very appealing match for me, at least pre-match odds-wise. Rijeka, very strong favourites. As you know, 20-minute rule, you've seen us a little unlucky with the 20-minute rule. These damn sides scoring bang on 20 minutes. I've had it twice, had that with Rangers, and you've had it with PSV Eindhoven as well. So very disappointing, because those would make up for the other ones which didn't come in. But you get the general gist with short odds. They normally indicate plenty of goals. AAB and Sondersky, Danish First Division, 2.25. Top of the league, first against second, well, it takes short shrift. Chelsea, you'd be expecting, if this is 1-0 after 65, 70 minutes, you might want to back 3-0, any unquoted for Chelsea. Are you going to follow Bosun's little stat about Everton not having 6 consecutive matches without a win? This is a tough ask for them because Bournemouth will be buoyant after their 4-goal haul. And after a bit of a poor winless run, they're on a run of win, draw, win in the last 3 matches, Bournemouth as well. Including, well, they've played all three of the newly promoted sides. So not the most compelling form recently for Bournemouth. They've had a pretty easy run of it, haven't they? Everton, arguable that they could be in that same bracket as Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton, but they're just, for me, they're a slight level ahead. But they're going through a woeful run at the moment, having had a tough run of it. Man United, Man City, Brighton at home as well. A couple of 1-1s. We will see. Sheffield United against Fulham. This has got lay the draw at some point written all over it. But this is Chris Wilder at his best. Sheffield United. The moment you lay a 0-0, he'll go and pull out a 0-0 out of his hat. Monaco, very strong favourites, just beginning away at Metz. Leipzig still haven't broken through. 75th minute, this is getting a bit alarming. Well, Wolfsburg, job done. And Monaco have just scored first. There we go. So the favourites are all doing a number today.
AVS Santa Clara is 0-1.
That was the top 2 clash in the Portuguese Segunda League.
0-1.
So I was looking for a late goal there. 120 attacking pressure index in the 77th minute for Bayer Leverkusen. That's why we've got the insurance on the 0-1. Wow.
26 shots, 112 dangerous attacks, 120 attacking pressure. And it's pretty much the ball is in the net, but it's just not in the net. That's what 120 says. And now Wolfsburg have been red carded. Now, you know how Wolfsburg love a score draw. So that could be interesting, couldn't it? Looks like I've just hidden that match, which is a pity. I can't unhide it. So we'll look on that one with interest, 76th minute. But Leverkusen and Hoffenheim, how are things looking? I would prefer the +1 because it covers the draw. Now we are at the behest of Leverkusen to see whether they can get 2 quick goals. I've spelt it wrong, but we're getting there. So the +1 was far too short earlier on. But 1.86, it's still relatively short. Match odds, we've got an £18.69 loss, but that's not going to be met fully by our insurance. We've got a £7 lag. The reason for taking this insurance out is you've got that 0-1 covered and you're profiting from that. Normally, it works well with +1. If it worked with +1, you would have an £11 profit here. You would have an £11 loss here, and it would be break even. The problem is, we went match odds. So you've got a lag because you've done 2 separate bets. That's why you've got a lag of about 7 or 8 quid. But this gives you the opportunity to do a Gareth, as I call it, a Gareth bail, a bailout. So if you wanted to bail out of this, click on the green button there, take your £13 profit, take your £21 loss, make that about an £8 loss on the match. You've given Leverkusen a good run for their money, or you stay in. If you stay in, you'll make a £2.80 loss here. And if you get the equaliser, you'll make a £14 loss here. So if you're willing to take that £17 loss pre-match in the hope of getting that £28 gain, then this is the way to do it, the match odds. But we couldn't go to the +1 market because the odds were far too short. Don't forget, the +1 market is the same as backing by a Leverkusen and the draw. 2 out of 3 outcomes. That's why you're getting such skinny odds. But it looks like matter of time, doesn't it? Matter of time. It's tempting to top up on Leverkusen. But looking at, well, we're up to 1.64 for laying over 1.5 goals. So that's going to be relatively high. But that 6.4 is getting a little tempting, isn't it? Given their record this season. They did score 3 goals against Hoff last time. And they've been consistently up there or thereabouts on the attacking pressure index here. So you really should be expecting a goal from them at some point. Spurs last 5 match goals. Thank you, Boaston. Forest had not lost when Chris Wood's playing. Brilliant stats. I've got to get this bloody heart thing out of the way. I can't read. There we go. 3-4. Spurs last 5 matches. 3-4-4, 3-3. So Bosun's got a degree of confidence that Spurs will come back from this, but they're doing a Peterborough Bosun. Peterborough 1.25 yesterday, lost 1-3 against a side in desperate need for points. Guess who Spurs are playing today? So are you with Bosun here? And the 3 goals expected. Oh, Burnley have equalised. Very interesting. Wow. Don't forget the red carded. So that could be a lay the draw. So that's fascinating. Burnley equaliser. Could be a pen. And the other stat about Chris Wood for Nottingham Forest from Bosun. Nottingham Forest have not lost when Chris Wood has been playing. Great stats, Bosun. Thank you very much. Are you with him today? Because if you are, you'll be taking on that Palace lead. And I'll show you how to do it. Given the fact that Nottingham Forest have had a few 1-0 defeats of late. And there's a Tottenham equaliser. Good stuff. Did we get involved? I think we went match odds, didn't we? We should have got involved. I hope we got involved in the match odds. Let me just check. So Bosun's stat is coming true. Hopefully I got match odds. Oh, come on. Why did I miss this out? This was a lay over 1.5 goals go to the match odds, surely. So if the draw odds get a bit lower, or given the fact they're 1.2 pre-match, correct score 3-1, any other home score. Oh, we've already got those on already, haven't we? I know we've got the 1-2 covered. So I've got the next scoreline for Luton covered. Got the 0-2 covered. We don't need that anymore. 3-1. Any other home score? Again, it's very skinny, isn't it?
Metz Monaco is 0-2.
Well, that's Metz doing a job already. So the Burnley goal, did that come from open play? Let's have a quick look. So the Wi-Fi is a little slow. Cullen from open play, yeah. But surely they're going to be very, very vulnerable. But how do we play? How can we create some value? It's a similar story with Tottenham. The only way to create the value is to wait and delay a little bit. And Nottingham Palace, if you're going to be following Bosun's idea that Forest don't tend to lose with Chris Wood, then Nottingham Forest. So, as ever, I personally would cover the insurance, given the number of 1-0 defeats Forest have had of late. But this comes with risk, and it's probably one I wouldn't be ordinarily playing. But we'll have a look to see whether test out Bosun's stat. So I'll be looking to win the amount I want to play with, but covering the current scoreline of 0-1 to Crystal Palace. It's expensive. Are we going to get decent odds for Nottingham Forest +1? I would say about 2.3. If it's higher, 2.68. So pretty good odds, but very negative odds. This is telling you the market doesn't fancy this at all. So up to you if you wanted to follow Bosun and the Chris Wood angle. This is how I would do it. I would lay over 1.5 goals, cover that 0-1, back Nottingham Forest +1. But notably, Forest have been in pretty poor form of late. Don't look to be the kind of reliable trading side that they were when Nuno Espirito Santo first took over. Poor run, only one win in 2024. In the last 3 matches, they failed to score that second goal, Nottingham Forest. Loss, win, loss at home recently. No draw in 10 at home either. They've scored 2 goals at least in 8 out of 11 home matches against Fortuna. That is very strong. That stands out, doesn't it? 15 out of 21 goals. Well, we need to see the scoring. 13 out of 19 goals scored at home come second half for Forest. That's good. So the half-time team talks are working. 7 0-0s at half-time at home, none at full-time. New manager for Palace. That's the problem with this match again. New manager syndrome. Could see them overperform, could see them score 2 consecutive goals. You just don't know. We cannot take anything under Roy Hodgson because he's gone. We've got a whole new backroom staff in, different tactics, and we've got a Sheffield United lead. This is exactly the Chris Wood tactic, although he would prefer that goal to have come in the 89th minute rather than the 59th minute. But this is a potential angle in if you trust the pre-match odds. But we do know this is the modus operandi for Sheffield United. They're Fulham's Achilles heel. They're a little goal shy away from home. 7 consecutive under 2.5 goal matches for Fulham. 7 consecutive over 2.5 goal matches for Fulham suggests they could score that second goal today. So I am telling you, they're a little goal shy away from home. They've only scored 2+ goals on 4 times away. But
This market has been suspended.
with a record of over 2.5 goal matches, we could see that Fulham equaliser. We've got to check the in-play stats out, though. Are they being strangled?
Goal. Bayer Leverkusen TSG Hoffenheim is 1-1.
There we go. That's the 1-1. And we've got a 1-1 for NEC Nijmegen as well against PSV Eindhoven. So that's interesting second half. That's the Leverkusen match. What we should have done, as I say, should have loaded up more on Leverkusen, eh? At 6.4. It's rather inevitable. How many times did you see them at 100 plus in the attacking pressure index? And that 1.86 looking like a gift now. Look at that. Oh, that would have been rather nice. How about that? Backing them at 6.4 or higher, dropping down. Now, if you're a bit, if you don't want to see that loss, £14.12, then you can take a £4 red screen here, along with your £2 lost insurance, will make a £7 loss because you were expecting that goal a lot earlier for Leverkusen. I wouldn't be surprised to get a late winner from them, but when, as you can see, £2.80. That insurance has worked out very well, hasn't it? But we're facing a £14 loss if this remains a draw. So this could be one to start drip backing, perhaps.
Monaco is 0-3.
What do I mean by drip backing? Well, if I've got a favoured side, I'll be looking for them to win by backing them to win just a nominal fiver. Keep the liability low, but keep topping up as we go through. So that's one. So let's just up that a little bit. You could also, and it's normally a little high for me, 1.38. As I say, 1.25 and lower. It's certainly one to do. To get involved with the later draw as well. As you can see, the liability starts increasing.
This market has been suspended.
We've got to have a look at Sheffield United as well against Fulham. So let's go to that match. What are Fulham's stats looking like? Well, I like them. This one you've got to take insurance out. And there's a goal from Maruka before half-time. So let's break.
This market has been suspended.
Is that the winner for Bayer Leverkusen? Come on, the boys. Come on, the boys. There we go. Merry Christmas. Just start drip backing the side that you fancy.
TSG Hoffenheim is 2-1.
And you've got to green up now, please. You don't want to take a £17 loss. Don't forget that Hoffenheim did score 2 goals last time these two met. Brilliant, brilliant from Xavi Alonso's boys. Brilliant. This is one of those matches you could make I was just about to swear. You could make an absolute fortune in if you keep the faith. How high would Bayer Leverkusen at their best? Oh, you're joking. 17.5. Oh, well, it's green. Nice profit. Nice profit. £2.80 loss
This market
liability.
has been suspended.
Hopefully that's not VAR coming to
This market has been suspended.
bugger it all up. Let's have a look at Aruka.
Goal. Sheffield TD Fulham is 1-1.
Oh, I was heading off to that one. I hope you got on. Please don't wait for me to place the play. You should have known what to do in that Fulham Sheffield United. Lay over 1.5 goals. Back Fulham. That was an
This
obvious
market has
play,
been
wasn't it?
suspended.
But when everything happens so quickly, I was just heading off to Aruka to have a look at the half-time score. There we go. You're coming out of that unscathed. Add it another little bit of profit. And you've got that 46 quid. If they got that earlier goal, you've got that 46 quid. Now, Sheffield United, Fulham, you should have played. I really hope you played. Please let me know if you did. Yeah, Ashley, I hope you played. Bosun says that the Luton players are looking very tired, so that draw could be vulnerable. And are you with Bosun with that 3-4-4-3-3 from Spuds in their recent matches? But was that with or without Richarlison, Bosun? That's the problem. Richarlison took Ange Postecoglou through that very wobbly run and got him out the end with his goals. So he is a big miss, really is. Well done to Bayer Leverkusen. What a fantastic side. Absolute killer. So Boaston says, looking a little tired. Sorry, Ashley was saying that. But look at the in-play stats. They're looking a little tired. Only 2 shots on target for 61 minutes of the match for Tottenham. This is Luton overreacting to conceding 4 second-half goals against Bournemouth. It's quite obvious that. Nottingham Forest and Palace, got to have that insurance covered.
Crystal Palace is 1-1.
Yes, got to thank Boaston for that. It was a very risky play because Nottingham Forest have been going through a hell of a bad run. So thank you very much, Boaston, for that Chris Wood angle. If you followed, well done indeed, because you're going to get a pretty decent return. Take away the lost liability from the insurance play, which had to be done because Nottingham Forest have had a number of 1-0 defeats of late. So you're going to lose 16 quid, which is a bit of a hit. But how about that? £40 minus 16. That's not too shabby, is it? You could stay for the 65 quid, but as I say, you might want to take the money and run to the hills. That's about 26 quid profit. So that will eat in to some of the Mönchengladbach losses. So don't forget, if you've made a loss earlier on in your trading session, hoover up your greens. As your mum used to tell you, eat your greens. That will cover any lost liability from the likes of Mönchengladbach yesterday. And indeed, carrying on yesterday from the Peterborough loss and the Barnsley, I think it was, lost as well, 0-2 to Cambridge. Bournemouth have scored first against Everton, and that's going to test Boaston's theory that Everton don't tend to lose 6 consecutive or fail to win 6 consecutive matches. RB Leipzig, very, very disappointing from them. Mainz, fair enough, they don't score, but this is very, very disappointing from Leipzig. Woeful stuff. Is this post-international break woes? Because they are one of the major sides. This is something we have to factor in again. Tottenham, fatigue, post-international fatigue. Son has been all over the place, hasn't he, of course? So that could be the element in the underperformance from the Spuds and from Leipzig today. But this is, well, this is awful. 103 attacking pressure index, 10 shots on, 11 off, 12 corners, 71. Mainz, yes, they need points. Looks as if they're going to survive that Leipzig. And what that means then, if I'm following this, it's yet another 2. So we're going through a bit of a poor run. But I know that we will hit a winning streak soon, because it's laying the draw second half does tend to come in quite a lot in the right kind of matches. Looks like Union Berlin are surviving against Eintracht Frankfurt. I wouldn't have laid the draw second half personally myself. Not very compelling. All second half shots on target though, fair enough.
This market has been suspended.
So that's disappointing for Leipzig. And Frankfurt I didn't play, but Union Berlin not winning today, but not losing. So that's a positive for them.
Sheffield TD Fulham is 2-1.
Wow. Sheffield United's second goal. Has that come from open play? It was that Leverkusen match, really, we should have absolutely gone to town on. It's opportunities like this. 17.5, for goodness sake. Should have been following it implicitly throughout, particularly when it's hitting 100 plus on the attacking pressure index consistently. That compensates for other losses elsewhere. The likes of the Kilmarnock, that kind of thing. Let's have a look at the Sheffield United second goal. And don't forget the Nottingham Forest, you might want to look at cashing out of that. So let's have a look. McBurney. Lovely goal by Oliver McBurney. So it doesn't tell us. Looks like it was from open play, not from a corner. But Brereton Diaz and McBurney are causing the damage today for this Fulham side. Let's have a look at the in-play stats for Fulham. The in-play stats suggested that equaliser, didn't they, before? Are you going to get involved again? Looks like Tottenham are warming up, but still, as I say, the touch of that Peterborough's about them. Only 2 shots on target. Peterborough did this yesterday. Got as many as 13, 14, 15 shots off target, but still, just 2 shots on target all
Goal.
match.
Chef UTD
Whoa.
3-1.
Whoa. 4 shots on 11 off 9 corners. This could be one of those desperate need for points. 3-1 to Sheffield United. This is where you're going to get caught out. Desperate need for points. Some of these sides will overperform. I keep alluding to the Peterborough-Barnsley matches yesterday. These are prime examples. If you wanted to lay the Blades, because this is uncharted territory for them, they should be very, very short odds indeed, particularly given the scoreline and the time left. Only the 1 shot on target second half for Fulham. Very good defensive display from Sheffield United. 11 shots off target. Quite a few of them second half.
Goal. Chef UTD Fulham is 3-1.
So we can have a look at the market, because I'm ruining not getting that equaliser, that 0-1 to 1-1. Fulham did score 3 goals against Tottenham recently. And Leverkusen ends 0-0. Big surprise that. Could have done with a Mainz lead there. That would have been a really strong angle. These odds are short enough to have a go. But this could be a vital win for Sheffield United. So let's see if I can keep my liability low while having a decent go at a potential profit here. 28s for Fulham. Untick the profit box. That's a little too high. I like to go just over 100. And there we go. That's a very low liability for a side who've only had 3 wins all season, Sheffield United. Please remember that. One for the telegrammers, I feel. The liability is so low. Okay, let's have a look at Telegram. It's another one of those shocks. Sheffield United, desperate need for points, 3-1 up against Fulham. Yes, they're probably going to pull it off, as Peterborough and Barnsley's opponents did yesterday, both relegation threatened sides. But I'm laying Sheffield United at 1.2, backing Fulham at 29s. There's enough time left. Sheffield United only 3 wins all season, could capitulate late on. Don't forget, Fulham did score 3 goals against Tottenham Hotspur recently. And they have had a run of 4 wins in 6 matches, but they're not the greatest goal scorers away from home. So it's low liability, well worth a punt, but it wouldn't surprise me if relegation-threatened Blades pull off the win. As you can see, they're edging towards odds-on favourite status. The market's not willing to let the market drop. We were even in marginal profit there, but this is well worth a go. 2-0 is a great angle to get in. Well, it's going to be a long 17 minutes for Sheffield United, particularly with these secondary stats. 11 shots off target, 9 corners for Fulham. Could see them get that second goal. They need to get it before the 80th minute mark, really, to have an impact on the match odds. Nottingham Forest and Palace, well done to Bosun for that Chris Wood angle. Very good angle. And I wonder if it was a Chris Wood goal. That would be... Oh, VAR for that 3-1. So I think my bets are going to be scrubbed off unless it stays. So it looks like it was a lucky-ish goal if it's gone to VAR. Yeah, there we go. There's old Bosun's best mate, Chris Wood, making it 1-1. Fantastic. Looks like that goal has stood, but it must have been a tight affair to make it 3-1. So that's a positive if you're taking on Sheffield United. And it's that Brereton Diaz bloke again. If Ron Atkinson was the manager of Fulham, he'd be telling his players to put in a reducer on Brereton Diaz. Get him out of the picture. So let's catch up with some of these in-play stats. So exciting stuff. Good time to get Sheffield United. As you can see, the bookies are ripping you off completely. 1.2 at Betfair, 1.06 with the bookmakers. Hopefully you cashed out the Nottingham Forest play if you got involved. And again, I keep reminding you of this. Look, Sheffield United, sorry, Peterborough yesterday, and a whole raft of international players for Tottenham as well. That is the reason, I think, for that underperformance. And you're going to see it post-international break. You can get rid of Aruka, got that goal before half-time. Top two clash, AVS and Santa Clara. Really, I was looking at laying the late draw there. Monaco, well, that's pretty much done and dusted. And the odds-on favourites, Raika, have got the first goal there, so we don't need to follow them. So let's go and have a look. Some of these. Top of the table, Leganes. But the stats have been very, very quiet. Yeah, it's still live, so that's okay. But that could be one to watch. Desperate need for points for both of these sides, of course. Automatic promotion for Leganes, if they can pull this one off. 3-0 win last time these two met. Was a 0-0 at half-time. So that could be a lay the draw second half. On a run of 3 consecutive wins, Leganes. Cartagena on a run of 2 wins against Racing Ferrol. Both at home, the wins. They did have a 0-0 against Eldense. I don't like seeing 0-0s half-time and full-time when you want to take them on again. But I do like the head-to-head in November. 0-0 at half-time, 0-3 Leganes win at full-time. So possibility to lay the draw there. I'll bring that one up. We'll probably do some research beforehand. Just make sure these two haven't been avoiding or haven't been collecting recent 0-0s. Doesn't look like they have. Match might not be covered. Or is it Leganes, not Levante? Leganes, I think. Yeah, Leganes against Cartagena. So what's the draw looking like at the moment? It's okay, evens. So we'll just go to Soccer Stats, check this one out very quickly. So we're going into Spanish Segunda B. And there's the Leganes Cartagena match. Oh, I've got all of these. So I'll just show you how to get rid of all of that. Go to Microsoft Edge and use Soccer Stats.
This market has been suspended.
Suspended market. I wonder if that's one of our matches of interest. Is it 3-2? Sheffield United? That would be rather nice. Is it 2-1 to Tottenham? Have Everton equalised? I don't know. So let's look at Leganes Cartagena. So view all stats and matches for both teams. We can have a quick look at recent performance. 3 consecutive wins, pretty good stuff. 1-0 at half-time. Got a late goal against Amor Rebieta, 77th minute. But that 0-0 last away match is a bit of a concern. Failing to score in the last 2, Cartagena. No draw in 6. 0-0 is a draw for Leganes. So it's first against 16th, and they have an exceptional record against 16th and lower. 100% wins only failing to score against Andorra, but tending to score 2+ goals. How about Cartagena against top sides? Well, they haven't played the top two yet. They did beat third and sixth, so that's interesting. But they did fail to score at home with home advantage against the top three. The goal times will be next. Away for the away side, home for the home side. It's about even Stevens for Leganes. 50% both halves. 60% of goals for Cartagena conceded away have come second half. Note, 11 of them have come 61st minute onwards. So if you wanted an angle, be looking at the potential for the 60th minute onwards in that particular match. We're already there now. But only the one shot on target coming in the 59th minute for Leganes. I'm quite happy to delay here. Wait a little bit longer. This is the period, though, when Cartagena are at the most vulnerable. So we'll see whether we can get that Leganes goal. You can also check motivation. You can do that here at Soccer 24. Just check the live standings. How will 3 points impact either of these two sides? That's what we're trying to answer. So let's hope this gets... There we go, Leganes. Well, be an extra gap for them. Tottenham have made it 2-1 against Luton. So don't forget, 1.2 shot, 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. So that'll be an extra 8-point gap to the top if Leganes can win. Cartagena are 6 points above the relegation zone. Are they? 6, 7? 7 points above the relegation. 2 wins and a draw.
County is 2-1.
Aberdeen scoring. So it's not a must win, but it will take them importantly up to 42 points and nearer to the top 10 than to the relegation zone. But Leganes keen to get automatic promotion. These two, Espanyol, Elche, arguably Valladolid can still catch them up. The match is running out.
Market has been suspended.
Elche in particular have a game in hand. That take them to 56 with a win. So some motivation. There's always motivation at this stage of the season. I'll play the delay game here. We'll see how long I can wait. 60th plus minute is when they do start to concede. So I really hope you played the Tottenham match in some capacity. And it looks like that goal's been disallowed by the Spuds. Looks like Nottingham Forest are turning it around second half against Crystal Palace. Draw last time for Nottingham Forest was a 1-1 against Luton. Palace did get a 1-1 against Luton as well. Bodo Glimt in a friendly. Got a 1-0 win.
Sheffield TD Fulham is 4-1.
Wow. We'll take the hit. It's only a £7 or £8 hit. But that's the way you play these. This is exactly like the Peterborough match, isn't it, for Fulham? You're going to get these surprises. It's all a matter of not getting caught out with them, as I have with a couple of those matches yesterday in the lower tiers. But Sheffield United reminding us this is a unique part of the season. Might want to play neutral in those kind of matches, which would be goals markets ordinarily. Get rid of the Aberdeen one. So we're just looking at Leganes at some point, but very poor second half performance. Only the one shot on target from them. So work our way down. We're missing our English League 1, English League 2 and a Championship today, aren't we? Really flesh out the coupon a lot, can give you a lot more angles, particularly if you've had a losing trade earlier on. English Championship, League 1, League 2 can really do wonders. PSV, are they going to be impacted by the international break? I'm not too sure. But another underperformer. Let's just tidy this up a little bit. Bayer Leverkusen, well, get rid of that, of course. Job done. Sheffield United back to 3-1, I believe. Or we'll wait and see. Chelsea get the winner. Did you lay the draw in the Chelsea-Burnley match? Let's. I think I got involved in that. Must have got involved in that. Let's have a look. I'm sure. Why haven't I played this one? Don't understand. Hopefully you played this one. Surely I'd have laid over 1.5 goals there. Oh no, we got the Chelsea goal before half time, didn't we? But that draw was layable. Another one bites the dust. What a pity. Bournemouth and Everton. Well, 2 shots on target only for Everton. It's going to test Bosun's theory. I can't see it myself. And that's it at the moment. So it's a lot quieter than usual, isn't it? Because English Championship, League One and League Two waiting for Monday. But I think I'll do a live stream on Monday.
Has been suspended.
Because they're very good leagues. But we've got to be very careful with these relegation threatened sides, haven't we? Some of them will perform. Some of them won't perform. Look at Luton so far. Remains 1-1. Tottenham goal disallowed. Another shot on target for Tottenham. 2.77 expected goals. Do you trust them today? That's the question. I wonder if they've bought on any players. Yeah, Chelsea do score late goal, says Bosun. So watch out for some late goals for Tottenham. Well, Chelsea have got their late goal. Tottenham are nowhere near as confident a play as Leverkusen would have been. I should have topped up at 6.4 and higher, shouldn't I? Fulham have got a goal back. That's much better than 4-1. So let's break. The draw is heading towards odds on now in the Tottenham match. Might try an experiment here. Let's see.
NEC PSV is 2-1.
Well, NEC Nijmegen are winning against PSV. That's important. PSV have not lost a match this season. So I might just try something here. Variable profit Dutching. Any other home score. So we'll keep the 1-1. Oh, this looks far too expensive, doesn't it? Look. This is the reason it's expensive. Oh, it's 2-2, Chelsea and Burnley. Wow. Vincent Kompany can get a tune out of his Burnley side, but he's not there at the moment. So I can't play this one, really. Look how expensive covering that 1-1 is going to cost me. Not covering the 1-1 takes my liability down to a tenner. So I was trying to get that 1-1 covered so I wouldn't lose any money, but not going to happen. I'll just, I would prefer to get that 1-1 covered. Because Tottenham might not pull this off. They've only had the 2 shots on target. So this could be a really good one for laying the late draw, I think. Just doing a bit of delaying. I wanted to see how much the insurance would cost on that 1-1. Far too expensive. We've still got the 1-2 in play. So NEC Nijmegen. Are we going to get any value out of this one? Now, it's a 2-1 lead for NEC Nijmegen. We're playing this because PSV have not had a loss this season. Laying over 3.5 goals.
Bournemouth Everton is 1-1.
Oh, Bosun.
It has been suspended.
Bosun, football genius. Well done, Bosun. 1-1 Everton. Did you follow Bosun's words? That they don't tend to get 6 consecutive winless matches. Fabulous stuff from Bosun. Getting the Forest one nailed as well. Great. Laying over 3.5 goals covers the 2-1 for NEC Nijmegen.
Goal. Tottenham Luton is 2-1.
I thought it was 2-1 already. Is that Dr. Stephen Hawking a little bit late? Was it just come in, that one? Did you lay the draw there, Tottenham and Luton? I was just about to do, wasn't I, the 3-1 any other home score. So what a pity I didn't pull the trigger. Fixated on getting that 1-1 covered. So laying over 1.5 goals. Let's hope the PSV match odds are good, because they are unbeaten all season. Well, just check the +1 for PSV. Might be the simplest route to profit, where it's still skinny at 1.46. This is the kind of return you'll make. It's not the greatest on the planet, but it covers the draw. That's the key. It covers the draw. So well done if you followed Bosun. That Everton equalise 88th minute, Tottenham lead 87th minute. So 3-1, any other home score is in play. So it's not much of a profit if you take away your insurance, £6.40. That's why match odds. Take the risk. Half stake. But again, you're going to be facing a loss on the draw if it's a late equaliser for PSV. You're expecting them to win, really. They are unbeaten this season. So back them. Half stake is liability, late NEC Nijmegen. The goal came, not sure when the goal came. No, not sure of the timing of that. Got to get that lay of NEC Nijmegen in. So that's a much better return on PSV, but as ever, you need them to score the next 2 goals. There we go. So you've got the full loss on NEC Nijmegen. You're going to make a £10.70 loss on the draw, compounded by £6 there if it ends in a draw. So if you're happy to take that £16 loss on the draw with the hope of a 43 quid profit, if PSV remain unbeaten, then by all means have a go. How long is left? 53rd minute, very early, so I think it's well worth a go. But only 2 shots on target again. An underperforming big name today. Surely not down to the international break, that one.
Goal. Bournemouth Everton is 2-1.
Wow. So it didn't last long, but in trading, it's all about that odds movement, isn't it? So Bosun, spot on, getting that to 1-1. Like the Nottingham Forest match, if you followed that. NEC versus PSV in the Dutch Eredivisie. I've laid over 3.5 goals to cover the 2-1 scoreline for NEC Nijmegen. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's quite expensive. I've gone to the match odds. I've backed PSV, half stake, laid NEC, half stake as liability. PSV, top of the league, are unbeaten this season, but they're losing 2-1 in the 54th minute. Chelsea and
This market
Burnley
has been suspended.
would be one to target the late, lay the draw. 2-2, desperate need for points. Chelsea on a really good run of late. And Fulham are pulling it off, 3-3. So we're just going to break and have a look at that market. But Chelsea and Burnley will be a late lay the draw. Let's have a look at the Blades. We're going to make a nice profit here. Wow. Let's break off. Check out the Blades. That's the kind of return we're after this. Let's have a quick look. So you look under Fulham. This is going to be rather nice. So you want to take the green? 34 quid green. Or I'm just going to save that because this is what I call options at exit. What option do you want? Weigh up the amount of time left. Are you going to take that 34 quid and run to the hills? Because it's the 90th minute. I think I'm going to take that 34 quid and run to the hills because of the timing. You can always lay the draw later on. Obviously at 1.62 there's plenty left in the match. But I did this with Kilmarnock. 7 quid liability, 300 quid profit on Kilmarnock. I threw it away for a £90 green screen. So up to you. This is why I call it options at exit. No point me taking a green screen of that now, because I should have taken it when it was greened, when I had the options of the profit. So that's an excellent recovery. 3-3. So I'll just tell telegrammers. Should be sitting on a nice profit. Sheffield United, Fulham now 3-3. Up to you. Do you want to look out for that £100 plus Fulham win for the sake of for me, it would have been a £7 loss? Do you want to take, for me, 37 quid green screen now because the clock is not our friend? But the draw is at 1.76, suggesting there's a hell of a long way to go in this particular match. So up to you. I'll leave it up to you how you exit the match. You want to take the green, or do you want to hold out for a 3-figure Fulham return? A side with only 3 wins all season. Very gettable, aren't they? With the gift of it being 3-1. Absolutely fantastic. Talking of 3-1, that's the Rangers scoreline now. Poor old Chris Wilder. Well, they're heading back to the Championship. Fulham scored 3 goals against Tottenham. Run of 4 wins in 6 matches. Managers getting a good tune out of them. Rodrigo Muniz and De Cordova Reid are getting us back into profitable territory. All that work from Brereton Diaz has been for nothing. He has been instrumental today. Him and McBurney. Are we going to get a winner? If we're going to get a winner, you're going to make 300 plus quid. 100 plus quid, sorry. Not as good as Kilmarnock, alas. Wow. Tottenham, I would have, had I pulled the trigger, I would have had that 2-1, 3-1, any other home score covered. But I did want to get that 1-1 covered. Far too expensive. What a pity. This could spell disaster for Everton today if they don't get a result. Let's have a look at the live standings. Come on, the Fulham, for those of you staying in for a double figure return, a triple figure return. So let's have a look. Motivation.
This market has been suspended.
Well, Forest with a win. Take them up to 25 points. Everton, as you can see, they're still 3 points above because Luton are losing at the moment. Tottenham, Champions League place above Aston Villa with that win today. Vital. Chelsea dropping points. Could have been up to 42 with a win and heading towards the top 10 place. Poor season, but recently pretty good form. So too many draws. Nottingham Forest could do with 3 points. Take them up to 24. Burnley and Sheffield United are out of it. Luton still in, holding on for dear life. Even with a loss today, they will remain on a par with Nottingham Forest if it remains as is. So a lot of going on. And I mentioned this earlier on, Andorra Mirandes goal has come a little bit too early for these relegation threatened sides. 79th minute, I'm looking rather later for those laying the draws for teams that need to win. There we go, AVS and Santa Clara. AVS getting the equaliser in that top 2 clash in the Secunda division. Aruka got that goal before half-time for us. Piesklevici starting brightly against second in the league, Slask Raklau. Keep an eye on that one. Look at that, 5 shots off 3 corners. A bit like Aruka. Will they get a goal before half-time? It is more speculative. Let's have a look at the Premier League. Come on, the Fulham. Secondary stats really strong. Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace. Well, it looks like the clock has got the better of them. Tottenham limping to a 2-1 win. Much improved defensive display from Luton Town, as it had to be. But still, they're conceding a shed load of goals second half. 4 of them against Bournemouth, 2 of them against Tottenham. That is their Achilles heel. Chelsea and Burnley, a late later draw on the cards, given the desperate need for points for both of these sides. Let's have a look at that one. Chelsea match. So quite happy with that, but I will be a little gutted if Fulham go on and win, because that's another 3-figure sum I'll have kicked to the curb, like the Kilmarnock match. So the draw, it's at drip laying territory. So I'm going to drip lay to win £5. Now, if you fancy one side above the other, you can also drip back. So let me show you. Drip lay at 1.25. Drip back is to win a specific amount on the side that you fancy at 7.2, 7.4. Getting involved again in the drip lay at 1.19 to win a fiver. Just going to get involved again at 1.14
market has been suspended.
to win a fiver, because it's going down quickly. 1.09 to win 11 quid.
This market has been suspended.
That's probably the end of matches. And 1.06 in case there's a very late flurry to win 16. So that 6 doesn't work, does it? Okay. That's 1.06.
NEC PSV is 3-1.
Oh dear. I'm going to top up there, I think. Don't forget, PSV are unbeaten this season. But is this post-international break woes for them? Chelsea, well, to win a fiver at 16, it's going to cost you nothing. And this is the advantage, again, of software. You can place under £1 bets.
This market has been suspended.
That's probably the end of the match, I would suspect. As you can see, the liability to reward is excellent, isn't it? Well worth doing, given the need for points. But PSV is going to be a bit like that other match earlier on where I topped up. I hope I'm not digging my head in the sand by just sticking with PSV throughout. But we can top up again. And again, this will reduce the averages if they can get that next goal, PSV. Surely not their first loss of the season. So I'll top that out at about £50 on NEC. You could have it covered by laying over 4.5 goals. But am I flogging a dead horse here? Am I getting too infatuated with that unbeaten run of PSV Eindhoven's? Post-international break, again, surely they're not going to be affected post-international break, PSV. So I'm just topping up. Hopefully they'll score the next goal, and that will reduce our losses. Have a look at the NEC goal. So just see if we've got any questions. The Gunners have gone to sleep. Looks as if they have. Lucky Chelsea. Oh, Seamus for Everton with his bad back pass. Fulham 3-3 says Gordon, I hope you got involved. 3-goal tally again for the Spuds, but 2-1 on this occasion. Oh, where have I gone? There we go. So NEC, I just want to check the goal out. Was it and the stats indeed. We don't want to make assumptions Well, again, there's suffering. Touch of the old Peterboroughs. Do watch out for these shots on target, which are very slim. Don't, just because it's the name. That's what I'm getting too involved, too fixated. So let's have a look at the PSV season. They're having a very good season, unbeaten. So I don't know where this NEC performance is coming from. One of them was a penalty, fair enough. But Sano and Sao, all the S's, putting in a very good performance. PSV, I think, are unbeaten this season, but looks as if there's a lot of green from NEC's perspective as well. 2 consecutive home wins, 2-0, and 3-1 against Heracles. Been scoring 2+ goals very regularly, but look at this, unbeaten all season. Surely not the first defeat of the season for PSV Eindhoven, but a couple of 1-0s, 90th minute and 10th minute. But this was a derby-style match, so forgive them for that. And
This marker has
Feyenoord,
been suspended.
is that a PSV goal? Have we got sanity returning? No defeat in 26. 2+ goals scored in the last 13. And you see 5 consecutive home wins. No wonder they're in warm order at home. It was a 4-0 defeat last time these two met. 2-2 against Feyenoord. So they have a bit in them. And they did beat Twente 1-0. Lost 1-2 to Ajax. They're pretty solid at home. Unless you get down to the bottom. They start conceding 3 goals against 3 of the bottom 4. So shouldn't be making assumptions, should we? Can you cover the current scoreline? Over 4.5 goals? You can. But you're eating into your profit. 1.37. This is an option if you wanted it. Cost you £14.80. Cover the current scoreline, but probably not the best move. And it needs to be up to 50 quid as well. So let's move that. I'll say goodbye to you soon. Going to have a live chat tomorrow as well. I think I have to check the coupon out. And then have a live chat on Monday for the English Championship, League 1 and League 2. So that could be very interesting indeed. Normally very, very good leagues to trade, but got to be very cautious at this stage of the season. So that hasn't been matched. We can get that. There we go. That's been matched. So I've got the current scoreline. Got this loss matched by the current scoreline. If we can start getting that Fulham type of response from PSV, then that draw will be in play. But that's what we're after. See if we can get a nice green turning up there. Leganes Cartagena, 89th minute. There hasn't been any increase in the stats at all, so I'm not going to play this one. But surely 3 points will be very, very useful for both of these sides, but they've just not turned up. A bit like PSV and a number of other sides today, post-international break. So let's have a look what's upcoming for our odds-ons. Aston Villa Wolves at 5:30. Bit of a derby geographically. Brentford and Man U is a very tough one to unpack. Lyon, really good second half of the season for Lyon. Bayern Munich Dortmund is a derby-style match. Lazio Juve derby-style match. AC Milan, why on earth are they only 2.38? Very odd. Go Ahead Eagles at 7 o'clock. 8 at Alkmaar. Barcelona at 8. I won't be up for that one. So that's it at the moment. I think there's not much else really to pass on. Just the 2 shots is very negative for PSV, isn't it? 13 off, 4 corners. I call it the Peterborough. This is exactly what we saw from Peterborough yesterday. Same scoreline as well. Surely not the first defeat of the season for PSV Eindhoven. PS Gliwice, well, no shot on target. So I think I'll say goodbye to you now. I'll be on Telegram for a little bit longer. Thanks very much for coming along. And thanks for your inputs as well. Much appreciated. And I'll see you again tomorrow for another live stream. And we'll have another one on Monday, a bonus live stream on Monday for the English Championship, English League One and English League Two Easter Monday coupon.